Okay, welcome. I hope you have some a candle going and lit some smudge. Smudging helps us get connected to a new space. Every time we light smudge, we are receiving and starting a new cycle, connecting to a new consciousness. So I want to take you further. This is part 4. I hope that you had fun in the last week and were able to experience some more psychic connections. So I am ready to take you forward. I have so much to go over tonight. Intuition is a powerful and mysterious ability that every person possesses. So we all have abilities. We can all open ourselves to these pathways, and we can all develop them. And just as we grow, we can also evolve our abilities and connect them to our gifts and to our life purpose. So we are born with these psychic abilities we've been discussing, and it exists within us. It's our choice to ignore it, to neglect it, or to use it. I believe intuition is extremely important in our physical and spiritual growth. I just gotta check my candle every couple minutes here. Going crazy. Intuition is defined in the Oxford English Dictionary as the quick perception of truths without conscious attention or reasoning, knowledge from within, instinctive knowledge or feelings. Intuition by its very nature is not a function of the conscious mind. Intuition is quick, without reasoning, and without conscious attention. So I find that quite interesting. With our intuition, we can perceive truth. We can receive real nature. We can see real nature. We can see the true state of a person. We can see the true state of a situation or even ourselves. And this perception, this understanding comes from within us as instinct or feeling. Intuition is linked to the function of the subconscious mind and various levels of mental awareness. Instinct is a function of awareness of the body. Intelligence is a function of the awareness of the mind. Intuition is a function of the soul and spirit. Before we can fully benefit from our intuition, we must enter contact with it. We must recognize how it functions and learn to communicate with it. And that's what we have been trying to accomplish with these last few classes. And once we develop a relationship with it, we can receive insights, truths, feelings, and understand how to receive and translate them. We are not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. So before we move on, last week we touched base of the chakras. So I do want to do a little review. The 7, going into the 7 major chakras. We have 114 minor chakras, but the 7 major ones are the psychic energy centers, and they are also connected to 7 layers of our aura. Now, the first class, we went through all of the different auric bodies. So these chakras are connected to the 7 layers of our aura, the etheric or etheric, however you say that, emotional, the mental, and the etheric template. And they run up our spine. It's our meridian, also known as our kundalini, and they connect to the nerve plexus. And these are situated within the 7 main endocrine glands. Each gland is associated with different parts of the body, and through each chakra balancing, or by being aware of our chakra system, we can achieve a healthier body, mind, and spirit. So the chakras are our energy conduits of life. It's our direct contact to the universal life forces, and every cell in our body absorbs and emits sound with a specific vibration and resonates a sound frequency. And that's why if you go onto YouTube, you can actually find certain music that will match each chakra, and they'll have different hertzes or different energy measurements. So we can receive, you know, feelings of happiness or emotion or healing by listening to certain sound frequencies. So if you would like, go into more about that and try to see how these different sounds resonate with you. So I want to go into the 7th chakra, which is the root chakra. And that was to be here. It means to be present. It's our earth chakra, and it's also our master healer. So it's really important for us to make sure that we have times where we can just be present to the here and now. Then we have the sacral chakra, and that chakra is 2 to 3 fingers below our belly button. So you can focus on the energy around there. And that chakra is for us to feel. It's our gut feelings. And it's also the water chakra. And that's a portal of power for our clairsentient energy and our psychic feelings. That's where we will shift our emotion and where we can influence our emotional aura, okay? The solar plexus is above our belly button, and I always say to below our rib cage, kind of in the center there. And it is for us, it gives us the power to act. And it represents the fire element in our willpower. And it connects us to the mental layer of the aura. And it's all formed and powered by our thoughts. So our sense of personal self is formed from there. And our potential and our connection is our true self. So the solar plexus holds transformational power and motivation. So if we find that our motivation is damaged or it's not suiting us, then we can use the energy of the chakra to heal and also to manifest and connect to those things that we want. Our heart chakra is right in our center, and it represents and teaches us how to love. It's the air element, and it represents as above, so below. It's connected to true unconditional love, and the chakra to heal a broken heart. So of course, if we've experienced something that broke our heart, that is the energy center that we want to use to feed it energy and heal it. So the center for unconditional love, but also tolerance, gratitude and forgiveness, balanced judgment, our balanced perception, our connection to the self, our self-love, the love of others, the love of life, and the universe. So that is our as above, so below. And to be truly healed, we need to be authentic. To be authentic, we are more open to unconditional love. Our throat chakra is to speak. And our throat chakra creates a sacred space. It's our self-expression, and it's our ability to speak our truth. So this energy center is the most powerful place to open and cleanse ourselves. Smudging our throat is such a powerful medicine. Think about all of our medicine and our food and our drinks that influence the chakra. So whenever we're not speaking anything and we drink it in and we eat it in. So it's really important to always cleanse that area. And you'll also find a tightness when that aura or when that chakra is being blocked. But the power behind it is self-sufficiency, communication, community, and our role in it with our own power of creativity. What we create There is creation behind vision, and there's also vision behind creation. So our throat chakra is what manifests our character. The third eye is, of course, to see. The element is the energy of three things: motion, light, and inertia. So clairvoyance, our psychic seeing, is connected to our celestial layer of the chakra. So dreams, our inner vision, our spiritual direction, all of our reality checks actually come from the third eye. So negative thinking will block the chakra, and it works with the power of positivity. So it's our vision, and we choose to try to see how we're going to move forward in our life. So if we can see something ahead, then we know that we're headed somewhere. It's our level of life, and our level of life comes from that energy center. What vision are you following? The power of remote viewing comes from there. Our omnipresent sight, being able to see divinity and spirits, and also our path to purpose. And the vision of that comes through our third eye. Our crown chakra is to know. So this element is actually made up of two different energies. One is pure energy, and the other one is consciousness. So that's where we get our direct perception and our power of knowingness from. It's also as within, so without. So very powerful energy from that center. It balances our inner world and our outer world, and it connects us to our higher self. It's our integration of the whole self, our knowledge, and of our divine guidance. So this connects us to our clairaudience, our psychic hearing, and this chakra connects us to our divine self, our true self, our destiny, our power, and our purpose. So our crown chakra is so important. This is also the chakra that our spirits communicate through when we're connecting. Clear consciousness is above that, and we're all connected to the power of clear consciousness. It's our connection to all things divine. It's our connection to the angels, the ascended masters, the gods, the goddesses, the powers of creation, to universal wisdom and magic. So I hope that you were able to, from the last 4 classes, able to understand your chakra system and recognize which ones you may be working with easier and which ones need more energy and balancing. There's many ways to balance the chakras. You can use stones, teas, energy healing, music, foods, herbs, mantras, more. So Google it, and you can find all kinds of stuff out there on how to balance and heal. But my intention was to teach you how important these amazing portals of power are to our intuition and to our psychic pathways, so that we can easily connect to them when we need to tap into them or into their power, or to even work at creating a more balanced spiritual lifestyle to benefit your vision and where you want to go. So our psychic pathways are mainly used for our power of manifestation, to connect and see where we're headed and how to get there, right? It allows us the direction that will take us to where we want. In the last class, I mentioned a few exercises that I wanted you to try, and I hope you were able to do them and connect with them and experience some of the intuitive pathways you have. I mentioned 2 exercises to try to look at the sky. One was at the clouds, and the other was looking at the stars in between the clouds at night. So these energies are celestial and divine energies, and they're always above us, they're always connected to us, but they're also connected to that clear consciousness that I just spoke about earlier. So even looking at your ceiling at night, and seeing the sparkles or the white noise like static light is a good way to keep opening your clairvoyance and your psychic seeing and connecting to the higher realm spirit energies or presences. Of course, these are always positive spirits, they're higher realm spirits, and they can also come to us in any form or manner they wish. But for doing these 3 exercises, it will keep you aware of their presence every day or every night. And if you get into the habit of connecting to them and seeing them in your ceiling at night, then that's a divine reminder that your energy is connected to something higher, and those energies are giving you the energy and the healing that you need every night you go to sleep. So if you do have trouble sleeping, integrate chakra work and smudge. Make sure you purify your pillow at least once a month. I do, or whenever you have trouble sleeping. So I want to move into divine signs in everyday life. So there are always things to look for. We should be able to receive a sign or a message every single day. So we need to train our heart as well as our eyes. We need to learn how to recognize that there's little miracles popping up in our day. There's special messages to be connected, and opening our heart opens our eyes to these messages from the divine. So the magic will turn to your life as you begin to recognize that you are more in constant dialogue with the divine intelligences. It's always important to look for the next sign and be excited about receiving one. So one thing that you want to look for is our highways and our byways. Pay attention to see what you're passing by while you're driving, what you find on the road may be an indication of what's going on in your life. Roadkill does not count. Okay, so I did have that question, and it's really important for you to know that if you're driving, you see a dead skunk on the road, that's not a message for you, okay? Our messages are alive, and they're beautiful, and they're something that puts us into a different state by seeing them. So don't count roadkill. It is not a sign. But some people may say that that's something that would be neglecting our power. So, you know, you kind of use your own sense of truth. I have had people that do read roadkill. I don't. It was already gone before I got there. So use your own discernment on that, but pay attention while you're driving on the road. What's walking down the sidewalk? What is every single person looking at you as you're driving? Do you feel like there's someone, you know, driving with you? I mean, you don't want to get creeped out. The back seat always creeps me out at night. I just hate that feeling. I won't even drive at night, actually. I hate driving at night. But what we notice on the highways and on the signs and license plates, those are all direct signs for you. So it's kind of neat to have a little journal in your bag so that you can write down things that you see and check it out and put them together. Overhearing conversations is a really important one too, because when we're tuning in, you will hear things more than 1 or 2 times. And if you hear something, it's the same subject and everyone's talking about this, or the same name pops up 3 times, that's a direct message for you. So pay attention to what you overhear. Of course, you don't want to sit there and consciously try to overhear. It doesn't work like that. But the things that you naturally overhear are definitely messages for you. And whenever we have information that is being broadcasted to us, that's a divine broadcast. And it's letting you know that there is some kind of change coming. So normally when you hear overhear messages, that represents changes coming your way or what's right around the corner. Deja vus are also something that I really connect with. I believe that when you experience a deja vu, it means that you're on the right path, and that's why it seems so familiar. So if you do experience deja vus, then that is awesome. Okay, that means, yes, you're on the right path. Keep following it. You can relax a little bit more. The other divine messages that can happen every day is songs. So songs that come into our head or songs that we may hear. There's times where I'll stand outside and while I'm listening to just the wind, all of a sudden I'll hear a certain song come in. And I know that those are messages. And a lot of times when the songs come up, it represents some type of spirit that is communicating with you. And it also lets you know that there is whatever you're hearing is going to take place within the next couple of weeks. So normally when we hear songs, it has to do with something that's going to manifest within a few weeks. Remember that animals are teachers. There's lots of websites. You can just Google animal correspondence of groundhog if you see one. But animals are a definite medicine for us on a spiritual level, and they always give us an energy. So whenever you see a deer or an owl, know that that energy is being given to you by the animal. And that's why it's important to take note on what wildlife or birds or even bugs are around you. The other thing is, what about a song that pops into your head and you can't stop singing it over and over mentally? Yeah, exactly. That's part of that too. Oh, and when it comes, sometimes it will lock on. I had a song in my head for 3 days solid. I mean, it could just be enough. Make sure you try to listen to that song, right? Play it on the computer or radio or tape if you have it, but it definitely is a message, and it usually does come from spirit. So animals, the other thing is the condition of our house. Every house has a spirit, and sometimes we have more than one. And just like we create spirit in our sacred circle or when we're doing magic in a circle, well, all of the energy of our house creates a consciousness and a spirit. So you want to take note on the condition of your house. How is your bathroom? Did it just flood? Is there cracks? Do you hear noises? Right? Like, pay attention to your house and feed it good energy. You know, for me, I light candles every day and night. It's just ritual for me. And I always think about the energy I need and the warmth in the house, or does it need to cool down? So evaluate your life in your home and even around your yard and take note of that. When things get built up and maybe we have one room where we have lots of stuff, it becomes more powerful as far as spirit and energy. And sometimes, and a lot of times when we do spirit releases in people's houses, they have a place where a spirit can build on their energy. So they build off of the energy of things, and every item you have holds a vibration and an energy. The other thing is a lot of our signs just come out of the blue. So just like we talked about with that song popping into your head, or information or someone that pops into your head, take note on that. Why are you having these pop-ins in your mind? Now, a lot of times, if you're having a pop-in in your mind and it's someone that you haven't thought about for a long time, those will also let you know about attachments and cords. So maybe you keep thinking about a ex and he just pops in and it's like, why do I have to keep thinking about that person? Maybe they're thinking of you. So our attachments create a telepathy power. So you want to take note on the people that are popping into your mind. Are they people that you've had relations with where there is something that is not finished? Or is it someone that you're going to meet or a vision of the future? Pay attention to your pop-ins. They are universal messages, and they come to us to stick out and get our attention for a specific reason. The other thing I want to talk about is ways that you can keep trusting your ability. Intuition is a way of knowing. And it's really important that we learn how to trust it. So you want to kind of ask everything, what is this giving me? And remember that anything that we are receiving on a spiritual level is meant to give us good information, useful information. It's meant to, you know, develop us in some way. So when spirit wants to connect, there's a power there, a personal power. So you want to try to realize what these things mean, and you want to remember how things came, because as you understand how things come to you when it comes to your psychic abilities, it will always come to you that way. You can learn to rely on it because you understand, no, that's not me. It came to me this way, and you know how it feels. You also always want to ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more information you're going to receive from spirit. So mental questions are really important. And I want you to start asking questions about things you want to know about your future, or what do I need to do to get to where I want? I have so many questions in my mind, because once you are able to receive an answer to something on a psychic level, don't you think you're going to want to know more and more? So when you open a line of communication as from the other side, you can ask any questions that you want. Sometimes you don't get answers, but most of the time you do. So be in the habit of asking the universe questions so that you are constantly receiving the answers that you want. Is this a good idea? Should I use my energy to work on this? You know, and start asking questions. The other thing is learning how to focus. So I talked about meditation and learning how to get into that place where you're quiet. And right after meditation, you get into that alpha state. And I also taught you how you can get into alpha state just by looking at the aura of the candle. So as soon as you see an aura around it, you can trust that you're in a more psychic state. But I want you to learn how to focus on your life and your space, and decide how you want to act for your benefit. So our abilities are always about making things better in our life, and also seeing more and connecting more to our true purpose. So our psychic abilities have to do with our true purpose and also our vision. So pay attention to your peripheral. If you want to develop your clairvoyant ability, the more you can see on your side of your sight, the more you'll activate it. And most of the time, you'll mainly be able to see how far to the side you can visualize, or you'll get the shadows, okay, or flashes of light. But all of that, our peripheral vision picks up subtle shifts in energy, and it's usually like patterns or just energy masses that is trying to get your attention. A lot of times, if you just walk downtown, a street downtown, your peripheral vision will pick up lots in between storefronts, if there's any little alleys, or even in the windows as you're passing by. So that's really a good exercise when you're trying to develop your psychic sight. You don't have to try to figure it out. Just knowing that you saw something is all you need. The acknowledgement is the connection. The other thing is playing little observation games with yourself is something I mentioned last week that I'd like to do. And it does always develop yourself, because you learn how to see things quickly. So next time you take a walk, observe your posture, notice how you look in the store windows as you're going by, or notice how you feel. And I want you to ask yourself what's going on inside that you've taken this position as you're walking. Then shift your posture straight up and feel how it shifts in your body. Notice how the shift in your posture produces a more positive response than from before. So use your shifting into different positions as you see yourself as an exercise to connect with how it's affecting your energy level. So you're extending your observation and being aware of yourself, but also your surroundings. The other thing is always try to notice trees and flowers and all of the nature that's around you, because the more nature we connect with, the more energy we receive from it. So that will keep our energy levels high. And wherever you choose to just stop, if you're going for a walk or if you're in a mall or wherever you choose to stop, just kind of always take note of your awareness. That's where you're going to overhear something, feel something, or take note of something. So stop regularly to listen, kind of make that every time you go somewhere, you're going to stop and listen in one place. The other thing is looking into the future. So psychic ability has a lot to do with being able to see into the future. And I did a test once for a university. They wanted to disprove psychic abilities. And so they contacted me through my store, the House of Avalon there I used to have. And they asked me if I would do this. Well, I said, sure. And I thought this ability was going to be, or this test was going to be them hooking me up to things or whatever, right? So I get this test emailed to me, and it's like pages long, and it's all questions about people that are doing this test. So I did all the questions, and they were like, who has a frog on their cubicle? They question who is getting married. So they would have all these multiple choice questions or just write your answer down questions. I was like, what kind of test is this? I thought it would have to do more about abilities. I didn't quite understand. Well, either way, it took me 3 hours to do this test, and I waited about 3 months, and they told me that my ability was being able to see the future. So I have a remote viewing, and that I was part of disproving their entire class. So it was really cool. Anyway, the point is it's really important for us to look into the future. People that have dreams and goals, or they know how they want to retire, or they know how they want to heal their body, that's where the power comes in. That has to do with our psychic abilities. It's all about being able to look into the future. So get into a habit where you can sense and that you can learn to interpret things that we're seeing, feeling, knowing, and connecting to, and what it has to do with our future. Why is it there? It is part of your future. So take note on those things. Now I want to go into, there's other things that you can do, such as tilting your dreams, learning how to ask questions before you go to sleep, and then getting your answers through your sleep. Sometimes that takes more than, one try. The other thing is when we lose someone that we love and a passing has happened, usually the first way they communicate with us is through our dreams. So it's super important to make sure that you pay attention to your crown chakra and that you are trying to connect with spirit, but know that the first thing that usually happens after someone passes is you experience them in a dream, and you usually will hold them or have a conversation, and it will feel so real because it is. Now, spirit is usually in our earth realm for about 3 to 4 months our time, and then they'll cross out into the higher realms. Once they cross over, they can come and go as they please, but they don't actually leave this realm for about 3 to 4 months because they are connecting with everyone that's around them. Okay, so that's something to know when people ask you, when am I going to, see someone? You can say, well, try to see them in your sleep. So that's a portal of power. Once you have a connection and you and that spirit knows how to connect, then you'll always connect the certain way. I can just call certain spirits and they come. I don't have to try to get them to dream. So tilting your dreams where you're asking questions or wanting to see someone is a great way to develop your psychic abilities. The other thing is premonition. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen to your son in the next year? Where is he headed? Try to put premonitions together about people that you love. Good things, of course. You don't want to focus on negative things. The other thing you want to do is change your daily routines. Never keep everything the same. You want to change things up, because when we change up the energy of a thing, the spirit connection gets stronger and it's more refreshed. So as soon as something goes stagnant in my house, I change it up. There's people that are here, they say they can't believe how many times I change my house around. As soon as it gets stagnant, I make a change. Every day you want to try to guess what type of energy you were meant to receive, and did you receive that energy? So look forward to the energy the spirit has for you, even on the days where it's full of bullshit. There is power in that. So every day, I always say, seek your bliss every day, because every day we want to receive some kind of message. It's there 24/7. You can also try to sense the energy, right? What energy is your loved one feeling? Or, you know, try to sense the energies. Of course, you don't want to try to sense what's wrong with everyone, because, you know, that's not what it's about. It's about development and what you can give to them and what you're recognizing and how you're seeing them. If you want to see someone with a broken addiction and you want to see that in their life, that's what you have to visualize and speak to their spirit about that, and it could happen. So those are some things that are really good for developing your intuition. The other thing is there's some common traps that people will fall into. One is having high expectations. So you don't want to have the expectation of how something is coming about, because that's when you're controlling a situation and you're not truly co-creating with the spirit. So you need to give yourself a break. You need to know what you want, but let the universe bring it to you the natural way. We can still use our intuitive muscles to look into it and see how our development is going in certain ways, but be open to how things are going to come about. The other thing is second guessing will always create a block. So you don't want to second guess things. Our intuition comes right away and quick. We don't think about it. The other thing is misinterpretations. So when you experience a sign, look it up, but be open to seeing how the universe brought you that medicine. What was it? Did you receive what you looked up? So you want to be open to interpretations, because if I hear the word Mike, right, and that comes to me, I know spirit brought it to me, right? And I will a lot of times use things that I know and recognize will come to me in vision for me to speak as a message. So be open to learning about what symbols are for you. Okay, what does the dragonfly mean to you? It's going to mean something different for everyone. Okay. The other thing is making sure you ask questions. When should I go do this? Where should I move in the future? Right? Ask questions about your future and see what you get. Once we open our abilities, they never go away. They only develop. They can stay working the same way if you get connected to it, but you always want to develop them and grow and take them further. So the more you listen to your inner guidance and follow it, the more you'll learn to trust what it brings to you. And you're not responsible for how spirit communicates. You're only responsible on whether you follow the information or not. So I know we have 20 minutes left. I want to talk about spirits, because spirits are so important for us to be able to recognize and understand how they work and what types of spirits there are, so that you can do that. Now, of course, we all have spirit guides, and spirit guides come to us. A lot of times we get it at birth, we'll receive a spirit guide, but every year we receive a new spirit guide. And our old, I don't want to call them our old spirit guides, but the spirit guide of the following year, or the one that was appointed to us at birth, can come and go, because they actually live in a dimension. So they come and go to their dimensions, okay? So spirit guides are there for us all the time. They're there to guide us. They're there to protect us as we're driving, as we're walking our evolutional journey. They are guardians. They're connected to the angelic beings, so they do communicate to the angels for us. They also bring us our messages of truth. So there are very wise souls around us. They desire to communicate with us, but it's up to us to initiate communication, okay? I have experienced a lot of spirit guide connection, and they help develop us. So a lot of times our spirit guides will work through us through dreams, okay? Whenever we incarnate and every time we go through a new level of growth in our lifetime or in our life, we will receive that spirit guide that will match the consciousness. So every connection and every consciousness we connect to, there's a spirit guide there to help us. So they do live in another dimension. They're not bound by time or space. They can be male, they can be female, and they may not even have, they may not even present themselves as a male or female. They could come as an animal. But they will come to us and give us information that has to do with our mission. Okay, so we all have a mission, we all have a purpose, and our intuition is our connection to them. So every day attempt to open your intuition so that you can develop the ability to communicate with your spirit guides. And what I like to do is I like to ask, is my spirit guide here with me today? I ask that in the morning as I'm having my coffee, and then I pay attention to whether I hear a yes or a no or nothing, right? And do you feel that it's male or female? So I talked about the presence in the atmosphere and paying attention to that in one of the classes. If it is warm energy, it's male. If it is female, it is cool energy. So is my spirit guide here with me today? Wait to hear an answer. If you don't hear a yes or a no, then pay attention to the atmosphere, okay? We also have universal energies and spirits, and there's so many different types. And a lot of anime, so Japanese art, they will have cartoons and stuff that kind of show the universal spirits. So the universe is made up of energy, and everything around us is broken down into the purest form of subatomic particles. That's even us. So we connect to the spirit, and we connect to the energy of the universe that way. So universe actually has a lot of spirit. Everything in the universe has energy. Everything in the universe has purpose, and everything in the universe is connected. So we can connect to any person, place, thing, anything. There's also ghosts. And ghosts are mainly mundane spirits, also known as mundaners, because they are earthbound spirits. And they are the spiritual energy that is not connected to the higher realms. So it can be a personality, okay? If you take a look at every aspect of us, if there was some negative aspects of us, that stays in the earth realm after we go. So we have the divine self, and then we have the self that we are creating through our free will. And sometimes those energies are sad, they're, you know, shaken up, traumatic, negative people. A lot of them get trapped as an earthbound spirit. So ghosts are a lot of times mental, like a mental spirit. You got to think of it like that. There's also levels of mundane spirits. There's the ones that have passed away too quickly. They don't know their past. They could be a spiritual presence or spirit ghost presence as well. And of course, a lot of victims of, you know, horrible things. they will become ghosts in the mundane world. Every year, when the veils go thin, as people have heard about, or Halloween, the veils are thin. Well, that's actually when the year of all of the ghosts that are now in our mundane realms actually allow for transformation. So when our veils become thin and the spirit becomes strong, is so that the spirit world can go through its transformation on whether they're going to be animal spirit guides, or if they're going to evolve into a higher realm, or if they're just going to stay put or even become demonic. So the mundane, the ghosts are always mundane, earthbound spirits. So they are still existing in their own dimension of where they passed, and they're like a radio signal. So sometimes our connection to them can be very clear, or we're connecting to a dimensional frequency and it's very hard for us to connect with that. But they have not fully crossed over into the spirit realm, and there's multiple reasons why ghosts will make themselves known to us. Sometimes it's to interact with us because they want to. Sometimes it's because they feed off of our energy, like psychic vampires. And other times they are trying to just make themselves known. But they can affect us. They can affect what we're hearing sometimes, how we're thinking. And that's one reason why it's always good to make sure you smudge or cleanse yourself once in a while from spiritual energy. There's also ghosts that have personality characteristics. So they were ghosts that were once human, just like us, but they keep their personality characteristics when they pass on. And so let's say if someone was really negative or if they were evil in life, they'll be the same as a ghost. So mean-spirited ghosts usually torment living people, and they also like to haunt locations because they feed off of the feeling of fear. And that's one reason why we don't believe in fear, because as soon as we feel fear, we know that there's an untamed energy and that there's something important for us in play. So if I feel a fear, I jump all in. I know it's important, otherwise I wouldn't experience fear. The other thing is crisis apparitions, and these are spirits as well. They're usually a one-time paranormal experience. So it'll be like a flash and you'll see something. And it's when it's either the time of their death or they are flashing to say goodbye or giving us an important message. So imagine us watching TV in our living room, and you know, when you start to have that feeling after you watch something, there's something around. A lot of times that energy that we create when we're watching those shows, it heightens us. So spirit can bring in an apparition for us. So a lot of times spirit apparitions will be messages from the other side, but they happen really quick. There's also parasitic energies and entities. And it's actually known as a parasitic entity. And these are very intelligent spirits that manipulate and attach themselves to us. And they feed off of us, and they look like a leech. And they actually suck from us. So if we get into a negative state, a lot of times that negative state is something that is feeding off of us, and that's why it's very difficult. We all know someone who has been put in a negative state and can't get out. Well, most of the time they have created some type of spiritual attachment that's feeding off of that mental, you know, issue that they're feeling or the trauma they can't let go of. So parasitic entities are another earthbound energy, and that's one reason why we want to try to stay clear, or at least, you know, smudge yourself once a month, you know. Angels, we all have angels around us, and the angels are always aligned to higher power. They're positive energy, so we always have spirits feeding us positive energies, and that they are here to give us and help us with a specific purpose. And usually that has to do with our abilities and our gifts. So it's always important to pay attention to things that you enjoy, the things that you like doing, or the things that are easy for you. All of those combined, and as you grow every year and receive that new gift or that new ability, you will create positive things in your life. And that's co-creating with the angels. So angels bring us our purpose. They also protect us from dark energies. So even though I talked about all those negative spirits that are around in our mundane world, we have angelic beings that are protecting us from negativity. So it is said that our celestial aura that I spoke about is connected to the angels. So when we ask for angels to come, it actually comes through our celestial energy. And a lot of people will be able to experience wings at night, and they're just kind of moving around. And that's the energy connected to your angelic connection. So angels represent good, positive forces of the universe. They're very powerful, and they are around us. We also have our own guardian angel, and that is usually an ancestor. So in the old ancient days before religion, I don't even know if they really called them guardian angels, but the guardian angel concept was always believed in the ancient times to be ones of human spirits. And they were usually ancestors that are there to guide us and to give us that wisdom and to help us on our life's journey. So all of us have more than one guardian angel around us, and we can use that. When I talked about seeing the sky and the little sparkles, all of that has to do with the higher realms. We have animal spirit guides. So depending on your culture and background, you would have animal spirit guides, as well as we are in Canada and in America. So we also all would have Native American spirit guides, as well as animal guides. So depending on where you were born, you are also connected to the spirits of that land. Now, a lot of people have experienced demons. Demons are human-made. So I believe that, religion obviously created demons, but also demons are all mental. They're created by man. So they are, of course, a negative influence, and there's lots of those around. There's also animal ghosts. So maybe you're sitting and all of a sudden you feel something brush your leg. Could be an animal ghost. We also have ghostly objects. So a lot of times if an earring goes missing, that represents an elemental. So there's elemental spirits, each connected to earth, air, fire, and water. Graveyards have graveyard specters. So every graveyard has spirits that are also known as shells or shades. And they're actually apparitions that are believed to be remnants that are left over of other spirits. So they actually are graveyard spirits. That's their duty. And they are usually seen as dark or gray shadow formations. All of us create a ghost, okay? So we all have family ghosts, and they are connected to us. So like you've heard me say many times, a lot of times I call my grandpa or someone that I love that I want information from. So we can connect to any of our family. We just have to figure out how they come to us and what type of energy they bring to us. There's also the spirits that are not aware that they're deceased. So sometimes, and a lot of times, the spirit that we will pick up on in houses are unaware that they're deceased. There's also spirits that are here because they have unfinished business. So a lot of times spirits have to evolve just like we do on Earth. Then there's the hungry ghosts. So these are more of from the Eastern religion, but I have experienced hungry ghosts. And they come to this realm so they can visit their old homes or families, but they're hungry. So they feed off of that fearful energy. So that's why a lot of times giving offerings to spirit is super important, because you keep the hungry ghosts happy as well. They won't try to feed off of your energy. Child ghosts I don't like, but child ghosts are around. So you always want to be open of the playful energy. A lot of times, if there's a lot of spirit animal activity where the animals are always crazy and playing, there could be a spirit of a child around. We talked about the ghostly sounds and smells. So you want to pay attention to things that you smell. How does the place smell when you walk in? Elementals are non-human spirits. So there's earth, air, fire, water, elemental spirits. And they are also referred to as an older order of gods, fairies, or elves in other cultures. So elemental spirits are always around. There's also the shadow ghosts, and this is a type of spirit or ghost, and all they want to do is show people their appearance. And their appearance is usually dark gray to black, and they can be anywhere from 1 foot to 6 feet. So they're dark, smoky figures, or they are like blobs. So they just want to be seen. Every time they're noticed, they receive more power. There is also, let me see, lots about hauntings. So there's regular hauntings of objects, house hauntings. Like I said, every house has a spirit. It's either happy, neutral, or negative. So you always want to smudge when you move so that you can have your own energy and you're not there with something that shouldn't be. There's a lot of infestation, and the term infestation is when there's more than one ghost or spirit or demon involved in a place. So certain times when the veil is thin, if you were to go to a really old graveyard or around it, you would feel the infestation of spirits, because it won't just be the graveyard spirits, it'll be other type of spirits. It becomes a portal of power. There's also 2 categories of hauntings. There's the abnormal haunting, and then there's the environmental haunting. So an environmental haunting is a particular place or object that actually has true emotions that are connected to a certain person that is in an area, okay, and it interferes with living people. And there is also the personal haunting. And a personal haunting is an entity or earthbound energy to an area, and it is there because it's connecting to the living being by negative thinking or materialistic desires. So personal hauntings are created. We can create our own personal hauntings by, if we get really into ego, or if we're really in a traumatic state and can't get out of it, we will create our own personal hauntings. So you want to be careful of that and make sure that you don't allow yourself to be into a low-grade energy. When we are in a low energy, our light dims, right? The same as if we become sick, our light will dim. And as soon as we become dimmer in light, the more connected we are to the mundane spirit. So it is true that we do want to make sure that we feed ourselves, at least 20 minutes of positivity a day, or one beautiful sighting or a pull of a card, just to keep us connected with those higher forces that are evolving us, that are developing us and bringing us our intuition. So I am almost done here. One thing I want you to do is carry on with the exercises. Keep connecting. Try to connect with your spirit guides next. Like I said, with your spirit guide, ask in the daytime, are you here? Is my spirit guide here with me? And get into yes and no questions with your spirit guide until you're aware of whether it's male, it's female, is it the same energy that keeps coming to you every day? And once you have that consistency, then move on to other conversations. The other thing is when you're using the yes and no questions, once you do get those clear answers, ask, are you male and female? What is your name? What is your power that you're giving me? You know, develop yourself with those spirits. Ask them what you can call them and have fun with it. You can also work with spirit guides when you're doing meditation. And that's one of the reasons why meditation is so great. Number one, it's important for us to know how to clear our minds so we don't have to think of anything. Before I do a reading or I'm doing any type of psychic work, I actually take the time to make sure my mind is clear and I'm getting into that alpha state. So you always want to make sure that you're giving yourself a choice on what you are connecting to. People don't realize that we're not just pulling information, you know, out of whatever. We're going into another state of being. So when you're aware that you've reached that state or that you want to go into that state, you'll have a real connection and a personal connection to your psychic pathways. And you'll know what you'll look into and what you won't, right? I don't like looking into negative things. I won't do that. So you'll have your own rules of what you won't connect with, okay? So try to meditate more, and there's lots of meditations on YouTube that you can do. I'm gonna post one that I have that I like to do to connect to a spirit guide on my YouTube channel, and know that you're only listening for positive things. If you're trying to connect with spirit and you keep getting something that's stressful, that's not the time for you to connect. Take a break. Ask for the answer, take a break. So you only want to connect with positive energies and visions of what you may want to know. So I hope you were able to recognize your intuitive pathways and which ones you want to develop more, and also working with spirit. I want to pull a card for us right now, see what we get, and then if you have any questions, feel free to unmute or type them in the chat. Oh, I got two cards. The first one is, true manifesting is about receiving what is the highest good for all. And, you know, that's really important, connecting to the power of positivity, because that's where the guidance is. So we also don't want to be manifestors of negative things, okay? So if you see that there is something negative happening to someone, you're going to be able to receive positive guidance and universal guidance that would work for anyone. It won't, you know, hit them hard. So make sure that you don't partake in any type of naysaying or negative stuff. It creates karmic ties, and we're here to help each other. We're here to elevate each other and connect to that divine energy. The second card is, I'm in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available to me. And that's what you need to get into the habit of connecting with. Be in awe. Search for that bliss every day. Know that no matter what we're doing in life, there's something better that spirit is actually working and waiting for us to connect with. Okay? So I hope you are able to receive things. You can also keep doing the cards that I talked about, the clubs for your career and what you're meant to be doing. The hearts are your emotions. The diamonds is your wealth and your health. And then the spades were our mental mind and challenges or things that we need to make a decision about. So play with your psychic pathways, have fun with them, learn how to communicate with spirits, and understand which ones you want to develop. If you could, please leave comments or recommendations or reviews on the event listing or my page. I always appreciate positive feedback. And I really hope you enjoyed this 4-part series of my Intuitive Psychic Development course. This will be posted on my YouTube channel, so you can listen to them anytime that you want. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. You're very welcome. I'm glad you joined. Thank you for joining me. Many blessings to you. And this will be up tomorrow for you to listen to. Love you too. Thank you. Awesome. Well, I guess I don't have too many questions. That's a good thing. Sweet. Well, I plan to do more in the future, so have fun. You're welcome. You take care. Bye-bye.